Okay, so we'll start with our gentle warm-up, just taking a moment to come into our bodies, to soften and relax, and to give us a chance to really shift our conscious state from that busy external thinking mind to just being a little bit more present to how our bodies feel. So letting go of some of the tension in the body, relaxing, just allowing the body to sink into the mat. So we'll take a moment to really tune into the physical sensations of the body, just allowing that process to connect our minds and bodies a little bit more closely with each other. Because during the day, it's easy for this to become disconnected. The mind is so busy thinking about everything that we've got to do and all our jobs and working things through and thinking about other people a lot. And we tend to be less tuned into the sensations and feelings of our body until something goes wrong or we start to not feel good. And then we're immediately alerted back to our physical bodies. But actually, it's really useful to be able to develop an awareness where you're just a little bit tuned into how the body's feeling, to the breath. This really helps us manage our emotions, helps us notice when things aren't quite right, and helps us catch ourselves before things start to go wrong. So we'll start at the tips of the toes and we'll just start to move the attention slowly up through the body, through the feet and ankles, through the lower leg, through the knee, upper leg and hips. And as you track your attention through the body, you're just tuning into how things feel in each part of your body. If there's any discomfort or if there's tightness, you can just soften and breathe with. Through the lower back, up through the spine. Just feel the back of the body where it rests on the floor. Taking the attention to the chest and the shoulders, down the arms and into the hands. Soften through the back of the neck, and the skull and the jaw, around the eyebrows and forehead. And then tuning into your breathing, just notice how the body breathes on its own for a moment. Notice the breath as it enters and leaves. And then you can begin to deepen and lengthen into a more yogic style of breathing, allowing the belly to fill with breath as you inhale. And as you exhale, the belly gently empties and falls. Slowing the breath down now and trying to drink in the breath as deeply as you can with each inhale. And really fully exhale. The body breathes in more deeply when we really squeeze all the air out at the end of the exhale, and then it's really ready to take that in breath. So just really being conscious of our breath, conscious of the movement of breath in the body. And then we'll just start to really switch to a conscious yoga style of breathing now. So taking a moment to exhale fully, we'll start the breath in the belly, then add the ribs, and then add the chest. And then exhale from the chest, from the rib cage, from the belly. Inhale into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. Exhale from the chest, from the ribs, from the belly. Inhale into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. Exhale from the chest, from the ribs, from the belly. Take a couple more deep, full breaths. And then at the end of the next round, just release the breathing and allow the body a moment just to reconnect to its own style of natural breath. Just for a moment, notice stillness in the mind, just letting go of all focus and concentration, and just allow freedom in the breath and the mind for a moment. Great. And then we'll gently hug the knees into the chest, rocking from side to side. Taking the arms out wide, we'll drop both knees to the right, stretch out through the arms, turn the head towards the left, and just allow the twist into the spine, the breath in the body. And then pulling the belly in, bringing the knees up and over to the other side, stretching out through the fingers, and just allowing that twist through the spine, softening into the breath. And then bringing the knees back up, setting the feet flat to the floor. Let's cross the right ankle over the left knee and pull the left knee in. As you pull the left knee in, squeeze the right knee away and just gently rock the hips from side to side and working, opening into the glutes and hips. Just focusing on the breath there. And then placing the left foot down, extending the right leg up and breathing into the back of the leg, into the hamstring. Keep squeezing the heel away from you, holding up as high up the leg as you can, and just allowing space in the back of the knee, focusing on that consistent breath. And then we'll place the foot down and we'll cross the left ankle over the right knee, threading the arm through and pulling the left knee into the chest. Again, a gentle rock from side to side. Keep squeezing the left knee away as you pull the right knee in. And then placing the left foot down, the right foot down, extend that left leg up. And again, feel the stretch into the hamstring. Catching up as high up the leg as you can. Breathe into the back of the knee. Extending breath into the back of the leg. And then we'll gently release, we'll catch the outsides of the feet and allow the knees to sink into the armpits. Into happy baby pose, just stretching into the hips a little, allowing that leg bone to reconnect into the hip socket. And release. Good. We'll gently roll to the side and press your way up to sitting. Take a moment to extend the legs out in front, and then just begin to slide the hands down towards the ankles or feet. Catch a hold of whatever you can reach, and then just ease yourself deeper into your hamstrings, focusing on the breath. And gently releasing, coming back up, and we'll swing the legs around and come to full point kneeling. Wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. And we'll just take a few rounds of cat-cow, sinking the belly down as you lift the chin and take your inhale. And as you exhale, rounding the spine, pushing the mat away, and really stretching into the upper back. And then again, we'll drop the belly down and take our inhale. And then exhale as we press the mat away and round the spine. Take a couple more cat-cow movements, working at the pace of your own breath, just enjoying that flexibility through the spine. And then we'll softly sink it back into child's pose, dropping the hips to the heels and stretching the fingertips out and resting the forehead down. And just taking a few breaths here, allowing that mind-body connection to just be re-established. And then tucking the toes, we'll move into downward facing dog. And you can just walk the heels out, pedaling out the legs and just feeling a little bit more length through the backs of the legs as you do so, preparing for our sun salutations. And then just dropping the knees, let's step the right leg through and come to a low lunge. Just making sure that the knee's above the ankle and the back knee is far enough away from you, you can get a nice drop through the hips into that stretch in the hip flexor. Keeping the chest up and the shoulders down and just allowing the breath to settle in the body here. And then placing the left hand down, we'll lift the right hand up and rotate the shoulders, lifting and opening through the heart. And then we'll switch legs. So stepping that front leg back, and we'll step the left leg through and sinking the hips down, lifting the chest up, shoulders away from the ears. And finding your breath. And then placing the right hand down and the left arm up, we'll rotate the heart a little here. Great, let's step the back foot in and just take a hanging forward bend, holding the elbows. You can rock a little from side to side. And then we'll release the hands and that slow roll up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Just roll the shoulders back, interlacing the hands, lifting the chest, and focusing on the breath again. And then pressing the opposite way. And then let's shake everything out. And we'll move into our sun salutations. I'm done with my water, there it is. Let's come to the front of the mat. And we'll just flow gently through our sun sals, inhaling, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding to the floor. Let's step the right leg back, drop the knee, and we'll just float the arms up into a low lunge and just settle there for a couple of breaths. It's a little deeper with the arms up and overhead, so just feeling that stretch. We'll add some pulses when we come to the other side. Take another inhale here. And then exhale, releasing the hands down. We'll step back to either plank with both knees up, or you can drop the knees and modify your plank. But whichever variation you're in, please squeeze your shoulders down, tuck your pelvis slightly under, and lift up through your belly. So Janet, just bring the hips up a little. You look a little there. Yeah, that's better. Lovely. Push forwards through the toes, drop the knees, and then lower the hips to the floor, keeping the elbows in at the side as you come onto the belly. Good. Tops of the feet down. As you come up to a baby cobra, roll the shoulders back and keep your elbows pulling into your sides. See if you can come up another ½ inch without pressing too much into the hands. Good, and then pushing back into child's pose. Let's sink the hips to the heels, rest the head down, and just find a few deep breaths here. And then tucking the toes under, we'll move to downward facing dog. And we'll put a pulse in here. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, heels squeezing down. 2 more. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, squeezing down. 1 more. And then just anchoring the heels down into the mat, sucking the breath up, pulling the belly in. And then we'll drop the knees and we'll lunge the right leg back between the hands. Again, try and get that ankle right under the knee, sinking the hips down, chest lifting, and we'll inhale the arms up. So again, just settling here into your low lunge, finding that consistent breath. And exhale, we'll release. Step the back foot in. Inhale, take your hands to your knees, flatten your back, and look up into a long spine. And then as you exhale, just slide the hands down towards the ankles. Begin to take your chest towards your thighs and your head towards your knees. And just breathe into the stretch in the backs of the hamstrings. Just focusing on your breathing. And then we'll release the hands, soften the knees, pull in the belly, and roll up bone by bone. Inhaling the arms up overhead, and exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping the left leg back, dropping the knee. We'll inhale the arms up, and exhale, add the pulse this time. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more time. And then sinking the hips down, we'll take an extra breath here. And then release the hands to the floor. Stepping the front leg back to plank, just focusing once again on really establishing your core strength. There we go. And then push forwards through the toes, drop the knees, keeping the elbows in, just lowering onto your belly, and the triceps will get stronger. Flipping the feet, let's take a higher cobra this time. So a little pressure through the hands to lift you up a bit more, but try and keep your elbows in at your sides. Good. Shoulders down. Lovely. Push back into child's pose. Reset the breath. And then we'll tuck the toes under, moving to downward facing dog. And let's add that pulse once again. Inhale, rising up onto the toes. Exhale, squeezing the heels down. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. 1 more time. Good. And then lifting the gaze, looking forwards, we'll sink both knees to the floor and we'll step the left foot through. Again, making sure your knee and ankle are in line. We'll float the arms up as we inhale. Exhale, pulsing down. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pulse. 1 more. And then sinking the hips, take a breath in. And exhale, release. Good. Stepping the back foot forwards, we'll inhale, flat back, lift the gaze. And then exhale, forward fold. And just settle into your forward bend, taking a couple of breaths there. And then releasing the hands and softening the knees, we'll roll up through the spine. Inhale, arms lifting up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Let's put a second round in, adding in some twists this time. So inhaling, the arms floating up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll step the right leg back, but this time we'll keep the knee off the floor and sink the hips down into a runner's lunge. So try and pick up your back knee. And the moment you really pick up your back knee, you'll feel the front of this thigh really engaged and working hard, and that's what we want. Now, keeping that back knee lifted, can you sink the hips a fraction more without dropping the back knee at all? This will give you a really strong stretch through the front of that hip flexor. Now we're going to put the twist in, keeping that engagement through the back leg, just sinking down into the left palm, into the right palm, lift the left arm up. Make sure you're not collapsing into your shoulder head as you rotate the left shoulder back. Keep lifting up and out of your right shoulder, and then just settle into that conscious breath, feeling that strong engagement through your muscles. 1 more inhale. And exhale, we'll bring the hand down. Inhale, we'll step the front foot back to plank or modified plank, keeping the core lifted and the shoulders down. Good, let's drop those knees and roll down onto the belly. Flip your feet. Inhale into either baby or high cobra, you choose. And then push it back into your child's pose. Reset your breath. Tucking the toes into downward facing dog. Let's put that pulse in once again. Inhale, rising up onto the toes. Exhale, squeezing the heels away. Inhale, up onto the toes. Exhale, squeezing away. And 1 more. Great. Now if you want to add a little bit more of a stretch here, you can lift your right leg up, bend the knee and open the hip. You'll feel a nice stretch into the left hip and also the hamstring. So just taking a breath or two there. And then we're going to step that right foot to land between the hands. Now you can either swing it through from single dog, or if that feels a bit too intense at this stage, dropping the knees first and stepping it through. And then we'll pick up the back knee and come to runner's lunge. So just settling into runner's lunge, once again, I want you to really engage through that back knee. So by picking up the back knee, you'll feel the back quadricep working strong. And then you can sink the hips just another inch and really feel that stretch into the hip flexor. And then pressing down through the left hand, we'll stretch up through the right. But again, don't collapse into your left shoulder. Lift up and out of your left shoulder and rotate the right shoulder back. peeling open the heart, and then really everything engaged, taking a couple of deep breaths here. And then we'll exhale, we'll bring both hands down, and you're going to step the back foot forwards, catching a hold of your legs and pulling yourself into a deeper forward bend, using your arm strength to draw you down. Just reset your breath for a moment. And then we'll release the hands, suck the belly in, and soften your knees as you gently roll up. And we've got one more side to go. Let's inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. And we're going to step the left leg back, keeping the knee off the floor. We'll go straight to the twist this time, placing that left hand down, right hand lifts. We're in our twist. And then hands come down, we step to plank. Good, drop the knees, lower to the belly. Flip the feet, inhale into your cobra. And let's push back to child's pose, resetting the breath. And then tucking the toes, pushing up into downward facing dog. And we'll add the pulse in again. Inhaling, lifting up onto the toes. Exhale, squeeze the heels away. Two more. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, squeezing down. One more. And then we're going to come to a single-legged dog, if you did so on the other side. So lifting the left leg up, bending the knee, opening the hip, or you can stay in two-legged down dog, four-legged dog, I should say. And just taking a breath or two there, and then either swinging the left foot to land between the hands or dropping the knees and stepping it forwards, and then picking up the back knee again to come to our runner's lunge. Straight into the twist, right hand down, left hand up, rotating the heart, feeling length through the arms. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, step the back foot in. And exhale, forward fold. Breathe into the backs of the legs. And then release the hands, pull the belly in, and roll up bone by bone. Inhale, the arms lift up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Just reset the breath. And then let's shake out. Grab a quick drink before we move on to our standing poses. Good. So we're going to start with a side bend. Well, let's inhale the arms up and keeping the arms alongside the ears, palms parallel in facing each other. Make sure you don't feel that there's tightness around the shoulders, but you're feeling soft and there's space between the ears and shoulders. Then we're just going to lift the rib cage out of the hips and then begin to tip to the side. Now, as I mentioned last week, as you tip into your side bend, press down through the outside edge of your left foot and then stretch up through the middle finger of your left hand. And just feel that there's length right along the left side of the body. Now become aware of your right waist and make sure it's not collapsed, but that you feel like you're lifting up and over. Maybe there's a hot bar waiting to burn your right waist and you're trying to lift over it. Just breathe there and then come back up. Good. Let's inhale, lift and lengthen ribs away from hips. And then again, keeping the lift through the left waist, pushing down through the edge of the right foot and reaching out through right fingertips. Just settle into your breathing. Feel the waist elongating. And then we inhale, come up again, and exhale, release. Good. Let's roll down through the spine this time, slowly scooping up the belly, but rolling the vertebra out. And then we'll step the right leg back and we'll come returning back to our twist, placing the right hand down and lifting the left arm up. This time, if you want to attempt a deeper twist, you can take your left hand behind your back and try and catch your right hip bone, and then use that bind to pull the left shoulder back even more. Take a couple of breaths in your twist. And then bring both hands to land inside your foot and drop your back knee to the floor. We're going to take a hip opening stretch. So just rest your knee down on your mat. Great. So you want to take the weight into the hands and out of the front knee now and out of the front foot. So you're going to begin to sink the hips down lower. And if your weight is in your hands and not your front knee, your knee can fall open to the side. You can take the top of your back foot to the floor to help you if you wish. And then just allow the hips to release. Now, if you want to come down even lower, there's the option of coming to the elbows, but just see how you feel. And just take a few deep breaths in a sort of passive hip stretch, just allowing gravity to open you up. Great. And then coming back up to the hands, we're going to tuck the back toes. And as you lift your back knee, you're going to walk your hands round to the windows. And to begin with, I want you to turn your toes in and your heels slightly out. And then if you can get your palms flat, you can do so. If you can't, you can rest on your fingertips. And then wherever your hands are, just see if you can begin to straighten the knees. Working the knees straight and lowering the head towards the floor and feeling that good stretch through the hamstrings and into the inner groins. And then just settle back into your breathing here, trying to release tightness and tension from those tight areas in the upper legs, backs of the legs. Good. And then coming up halfway, pressing through the hands, put a slight bend in the knee, and then placing your right hand down, lift your left hand up and find a twist. Now, just as we twisted in our lunge, in our sun salutation, taking care not to collapse into the left shoulder, your right shoulder, lifting up and out of your right shoulder, making sure that the shoulder girdle is rotating. And then we'll release the hand to the floor and we'll swap sides. So again, lifting up and out of the left shoulder this time, rotating the heart, working into the twist. And then release the hands once again. This time we'll take a passive forward fold, turn the palms up, and just let everything hang. If you've got the flexibility, you can walk the hands right back as far as they'll go to straight arms. And then just hang here. Great. Let's turn back towards the front. And we're going to hop the back foot forwards. And we're going to come to standing on the left foot, holding the right knee. Now, if you need to come to standing first and then find your balance, you can do so. Otherwise, I want you to come up, bringing the knee with you. But if that's not available, stand up and then pick up the knee. So the left hand's on the hip, right hand's holding the knee. Fix your gaze, pull your belly in, and see if you can find your balance for 2 or 3 breaths. And then, if you can manage it, take the leg out to the side. Allow that hip to open, keeping your balance if you can. And then we'll slowly release the leg down. Good. Shake it out. Okay, let's do some of that on the other side. So inhaling up, we're going to start with our side bend. So feet hips width apart. Palms facing in, parallel arms and shoulders drawing away from the ears. Then lift your ribs away from your hips. And this time as you tip, take the bottom arm down and slide it down the outside of the thigh, trying to get deeper into the side bend, Still anchoring through the outside edge of your left foot and not collapsing on the right side waist. Take a couple of breaths there. Can you find a bit more straightness in your top arm? There you go, lovely. And then we'll inhale, come up to stand. And before we fold, we want to get that lift of ribs away from hips, and then lowering the left arm, lift up and over as you anchor down through the right foot. Take a couple of breaths there, feeling strong through your waist on both sides. And then we'll come back up as you inhale, and we'll exhale. Good. Release the hands, and once again, we'll roll bone by bone all the way to the floor. And then we'll step the left leg back. And grounding the left palm down, we'll lift the right arm into that twist, taking care not to collapse in the shoulder. If you did so on the other side, drop your right hand behind your back and look for your left hip. Good, and then use that bind to pull the right shoulder back even more and to really open through the heart. Settle into your breath here. Great. And then bring both hands down inside your foot, drop your back knee, and take the top of the foot to the floor, and then begin to sink maybe to the elbows. Allow the knee to just fall open to the side, and just be passive in the stretch, releasing tension in the hips. And then coming back up, hands flat, pick up the back knee, and then slowly walk to the side. But this time you're going to keep your 10 toes pointing out and your heels in. Bring one hand to your knee, pull your belly in, and bring the other hand to the knee. And then slowly come up, getting your spine as long as possible and your shoulders rolling down your back. And then we'll take star shape with the arms, reaching out through the fingers. Take a moment to check that your knees are pressing back and that the outside edges of your feet are pressing down into the mat. And then as we inhale, we'll bring the hands to your heart and straighten your knees. Good. As we exhale, circle the arms back to star and bend your knees back into your squat. Let's do that a couple of times. Inhale, coming up, hands to heart. Exhale, circle the arms up and drop deeper into your squat. One more time. Inhale. This time, really challenge how low you get into the squat. Keep squeezing the knees back, anchoring the outside edges of the foot, but keep the heart lifting. One more breath and release. Good. Turning your toes in and your heels slightly out. Take your hands to your thighs. And this time, as we take a forward fold, we run the hands down the legs, catching a hold of the ankles or maybe even the outsides of your feet. And then use the grip to ease you into your forward bend. Settle back into your breathing. And then release. And coming back up, you're going to walk the hands towards your front leg. And we're coming back to that balance. So you can step the back foot in. And then if you did so on the other side, you're going to stand up on your right leg, holding your left knee. Or come to stand and then lift the leg. Fix your gaze, find your balance, pull the belly in. And then if you can, open the knee out to the side, maintaining that balance. And then we'll float the arms up as we release the leg, bringing the hands to the heart. Reset your breath for a couple of breaths. And then shake it out. And that completes the standing section of our class. So just rolling down through the spine again, bending your knees, placing your hands down. Let's step it back to downward facing dog. Settling into your dog here, pressing the heels away, shoulders away from the ears. So not plank, but dog. You're making it much harder for yourself there. Good. And then if you are comfortable doing so, if you did before, you can lift your right leg up into your single dog. Enjoy that hip stretch, or you can maintain all four limbs down on the floor in dog. And then we're going to come to pigeon pose. So you're going to step the right foot behind the left hand and try and drop your right knee behind your right hand. Good. And then just begin to slide your left leg away and bring your hips down towards your foot. Good. And then lifting into your high pigeon for just a moment, stretching out through the back toes. And then if that feels comfortable, you can gently lower down into your sleeping pigeon, resting the forehead down and allowing the hips a moment to stretch and release. And then slowly coming back up. Again, lifting the heart, rolling the shoulders back. This time you're going to tip your weight onto your butt cheek, your right butt cheek, and then bending your back leg, try to catch your foot and begin to pull it in towards your spine. You should feel a stretch through the front of the left thigh and just settle back into your breath, encouraging the tightness to release there. It will feel tight if you do any cardio in the week. We'll sit a lot. And then we're going to release. And swinging the leg around, placing both feet on the floor. Just inch your hips away from your feet and then try and get lift so that you're sat right up on your sitting bones and pulling your belly in, taking your arms out. We're going to row our way back as far as you can, keeping your toes pressed to the floor and then leading from the breastbone, coming back up. So make sure that you don't collapse the spine. And then again, exhale back. Inhale, lead with the chest as you come back up. Let's do two more. Exhaling back and inhaling up. One more. Exhale and inhale. And then we'll just rest the forehead on the knees. Take a couple of breaths. And then coming back up, again, find that lift out of your hips. Take the arms out in front, rock back. And this time, keeping the hands the same distance apart, so you're not moving the arms, you're going to twist the whole of the shoulder girdle to the side and then come back to the front. And then twist the shoulder girdle round and back to the front. Let's take two more on each side. And to the front. Keep the belly pulled in. If you're not feeling much, just rock back a little further off your sitting bones. Last time. Good. And then just resting the forehead back to the knees. And then we'll swing the legs round and step back to downward facing dog. And if you did so on the other side, lifting the left leg up and taking that single-legged dog. And then looking forwards, we're going to try and land the left foot behind the right hand and the left knee behind the left hand. And then slide your back toes behind you to get the back leg as straight as you can and the hips down towards the foot. Good. Janet, just take the knee a bit more that way. There you go. Because you don't really want your buttocks on the floor. You're sort of over your knee. Good. And then take a couple of breaths. Maybe take the top of the foot down. Good. And then slowly come forwards. And enjoy that stretch through the hip and glute. And then slowly coming back up. And then just transfer the weight onto the left buttock and bend the right leg, looking for the right foot and pulling it in for that quadricep stretch. And then just enjoy that stretch as we breathe. And then we'll swing the legs around. And we'll take one more set of core exercises. So again, pressing the feet flat. First of all, we'll row back and row up. So we'll try and take 6 of these. If you can take 8, that's even better. If you've had enough after 6, just rest your forehead on your knees. And then coming back up, one more round of twists. So again, rocking back. You can bring the hands to the heart if that's easier, and then begin to get that rotation from the shoulders. We'll try and take 5 on each side, 10 all together. Good. So the more you twist those shoulders round, the more work you'll get through the oblique muscles, moving with the breath. Good. And then this time we'll slowly roll down one vertebra at a time all the way to the floor. And take a moment to stretch your arms and legs away, feeling opening through the abdominal area that we've just worked. And then just hugging the knees into the chest. We're rocking from side to side. And then we'll place the feet flat to the floor and take the hands down by the sides. And to start with, we'll just awaken the lower back and deep core muscles by pressing that lower back down into the floor, removing any space between the spine and the mat. And as you do so, really pulling your belly button in until you can feel those front abs warm and working, even a gentle ache there. And then you can gently release and allow the pelvis to return to its natural position and the lower back lifting away from the floor. And then let's do that one more time. Press the whole of the spine into the mat, suck the belly button in, engage through the core, feel the belly button, the belly muscles working. And this time continue that action as you float the pelvis off the floor and begin to roll bone by bone off the floor, lifting up into bridge pose. Just walk the shoulders in towards each other so that you're up on your shoulder heads, and then pressing the hips up as high as you can, really opening into your bridge pose here. Take a couple of breaths. And then slowly release, roll down bone by bone, and just allow the knees to rock from side to side, releasing any tension in the lower back. And then placing those feet back to the floor. We'll take an inhale, and as you exhale, squeeze the lower back down into the mat. Feel that engagement through the core and the spine pressing fully down. And then float the pelvis, roll up through the spine, get high onto your shoulder heads, push the hips up and arch your back. Keep pressing the heels into the mat, finding breath in the chest and belly. And then a slow roll down. Hug the knees in. And then taking the arms wide, dropping both knees to the right and turning the head to the left. Stretching into the spine. Finding the breath. Pulling the belly in, taking the knees up and over to the other side. And then you can slowly make your way to Shavasana, resting on your back. And just allow the legs to be as wide as the mat, the feet gently flop out to the sides, hands away from the body, palms facing up. Just take a deep breath into the belly, the rib cage, the chest, and exhale out through the mouth. And again, breathe into the belly, the ribs, the chest, and exhale. Bridget, just have your legs out straight now, and just allow the feet to rest. Good. And then releasing all conscious breathing, just allow that body to switch itself back to that natural, soft, subtle breath in the body. Breath in, breath out. And those of you practicing at home, I will leave you in your Shavasana. Please take time to rest, relax, and take a meditation if that's convenient to you.